Okay, welcome to our very first episode of Gym Bag Confessions. We are so excited. I am here with my amazing co-host, and my name is AnnMarie, and this is
Rochelle.
We hope you enjoy this episode. We're talking a lot about a challenge that we're currently doing right now. So we talk about that adventure and just some other crazy things. So we hope you enjoy this episode. 25 minutes later. No, not actually. I think it's over an hour.
Yeah. Hey, we made it.
We made it. We figured it out. This kind of works perfect because you can't see my cleavage. So, because it's.
Oh, yeah. That'd be
pretty
hideous.
aggressive. No, it's just so aggressive that it's too much. Mine's just a lot. Anyways.
Yeah.
Tough
life, AnnMarie.
Yeah.
They're just so big.
My boob.
Stuff these in. So sorry, guys. So sorry.
I am so sorry. My boobs are so big.
I'm in my sweater. There we go. That's better.
My friend at working the other day, yesterday, she's like, "Yeah, I'm getting my tots done in like whatever March." I was like, "Okay, cool. Where are you getting them done?" She was like, "Here and here." I was like, "Yes." But where? She's like, "Currently they're down here, and now I'm getting them here and here."
She's really excited. They're gonna be up here again.
Oh my
I
God,
understand that excitement.
I died. It was so funny, honestly.
Here and here, you moron. That's funny.
Get it.
I told like two of my coworkers the other day that these weren't real.
Really?
And they were like, they were girl coworkers. Not that that matters, but
Yours look really natural.
yeah, they're like, no way, I never would have guessed. And they're like, wait, is that work appropriate? Does that sound weird that I just said that? I'm like, it's fine. You were checking out my boobs. It's fine. I get it. It's a safe place.
Oh, that's funny. Natural ones are the way to go. Did you get yours under the muscle?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they just look like little orbs of,
ones.
especially because like this is all, that's my breast tissue for real. Like the little baby amount that I was given.
Okay.
So if I had it like over, it would be like, it would look like I just spray painted the implants and glued them on. They'd be so obvious.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's the thing. When I lose weight and when I get leaner, my boobs get like, they start disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh no, what happens? Because I want to get leaner than I ever have before. And I'm like, oh, like last time I was at my leanest was probably like 6 pounds away from where I am now. And my boobs were like, it felt like thin, like the skin felt super thin. And I was like, no.
Now you know what the rest of the world feels like.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, but then I'm like, okay, I think about it, I'm like, if I was really lean all the time, would my boobs just be not as thin? But it's because the skin is stretched. And I think that's what happened. It's like because I've been like a little bit not heavier, like I've been curvier before. So they're more voluptuous.
Yeah. In gravity, you're not 20 anymore. I mean, a secret's out. She's not 20.
I'm not 20. Fuck.
I am.
The unfortunate thing is that you look literally 100 times younger than me. So rude, even though you're older.
Oh, thanks.
Whatever.
I will never get over all the times people go, "You're 40. You're 40. What?" Well, how old did you think I was?
They're like 26.
No, tell me. Oh, somebody was like, I was thinking early 30s. I was like, whoa, offensive.
Offensive. That's amazing.
I know. Because like I usually hear 20s. And I was like,
Oh,
you need that number to start climbing. Oh shit. I got off my skincare again.
oh my God, that's funny. Usually in my 20s. I know sometimes people tell me that I look 26, and I'm like, okay, I'll take it because I'm like, okay, well, I'm 30, turning 35 next month. And I'm like, that's pretty good.
That's great.
But then sometimes I'm like, they're just fucking pumping my tires. I'm like,
Yeah, it could be.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, whatever.
Open your
Here's
tires.
here's to looking fucking young.
Yeah. Or just looking like the smoke shows we are. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Not kidding. Not kidding.
People are
Oh,
gonna be like, "You're ugly. What are you talking about?"
the trolls. Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. So what did we decide we were talking about today?
The challenge we're doing.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh my God, that's funny. So we basically decided to start a challenge because me and Rochelle have been going back and forth 100 million times on bulking or cutting, bulking or cutting. And we literally cannot decide. I feel like for a long time I was bulking for like years, and it was also just like convenient for me because then you can kind of eat whatever you want. You don't have to be really strict with your calories. I love brownies.
Is that what we're calling bulking? Just eat
Brownies.
whatever the fuck I want. I'm bulking.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Shit. I should be bulking again.
Anyways, so I did well, actually we started our other challenge was going to be bulking, but then I was like I got too heavy too soon, and I was like I can't do anymore. The guys at my work that started this weight loss challenge, they were all like, yeah, we're going to lose like 30, 40 pounds. There's 3 of them. And I was like, okay, because they have a lot of weight to lose. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I want to do this weight loss challenge. I want in because it's like a competition. And then my girlfriend at work was like, are you nuts? There's no way you want to go against these guys. They have like 50, 60 pounds to lose. They're going to lose 100 times
You
more than
lose it.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I'm just going to lose like a pound a week, you know? And anyway, so then I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. And then the loser has to buy everybody else dinner. And I was like, well, I don't
Mhm.
want to take these numpties out for dinner. That's going to cost a fortune. And so it's like $500.
Salad.
Yeah, pretty much. I will do the ordering for the table, and all y'all
Yeah.
bitches get a salad.
Side salad, not a dinner salad.
I'm not even gonna take them to McDonald's because that shit's so expensive these days.
Yeah. I know,
Anyways,
right?
yeah. So then, anyway, she was like, "We'll start our own competition together," and I was like, "Okay, cool." So we started our competition probably like 6, 7 weeks ago now. Yeah, like 6 weeks ago. And it's been going really good because every time I'm like, oh, I want this, or I don't want to stick to my macros, or I want that. And then I'm like, oh no, I gotta stay on track. I need to win this competition. And it was even funny because we went to I don't know if I told you this, but we went to our Christmas party, and it was the
Mhm.
week after we started this competition. And I was literally sitting there like side eyeing her to see how much she was eating because I was like, okay, if she's gonna indulge, then I can indulge.
She's having 2 brownies, I'll have 1.
Yeah, straight up, I kid you not.
You're trying to sneak sugar in her food.
We've been doing this competition and it's been so good to keep me on track. And then I kind of found like I think she's maybe not taking it as seriously. She's also been sick. And so our competition ends in a couple weeks. And so I'm like, oh my God. And then that's when I came to you. I'm like,
Polarized her.
we need to do a fucking challenge. Yeah, because I think I've lost 7.4 pounds. That's almost 7.5 pounds since we started like 6 or 7 weeks ago, which has been so good. And then I was like, okay, who's next? Like, I need another competition in my life.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
It works so good. She's going to owe me dinner because I'm winning. So then I came to you and I was like, well, let's do a challenge because we both want to cut for the summer. I'm like, let's do a challenge. So here we are now doing our street challenge. I'm so
Mhm.
down with it. Tell them about our challenge.
Oh, okay. Shit. Um, I was just so enthralled. I was like, what's next? I'm like, is she gonna try to sabotage me? Is this what's happening?
No, I've just been talking forever.
Yeah, that's a good thing I'm in a different country, so you can't try to sabotage me or side eye me. Um,
Oh my God, I'll tell you the funniest thing. Okay, no, I gotta tell you now. My partner, Jay, he's like, as soon as I told him this, I was like, babe, I gotta start today. Today, my challenge starts. We're in bed. It's like Sunday morning. And then he launches out of bed. His hair is like sticking straight up in there. And he's like, do these girls have partners? I'm like, yeah, they have boyfriends. Why? He's like, there's not 3 of you in this challenge. There's fucking 6 of us. He's like, what do we gotta do to win? He's like, I'm gonna go to Christy's house. I'm gonna slash her tires. And then I'm gonna slash her tires because when that happens, then she's not gonna be able to do the competition. I'm like, if you slash her tires, she's gonna walk everywhere and she's gonna burn more calories. He's like, okay. He's like, maybe we should take them over for dinner and put more food in their food. And I was like, okay.
what's his plan to sabotage me?
He hasn't thought that far ahead yet.
Oh, good. You're gonna send some shit in the mail.
Yeah.
I need to get Dylan on board for that because last night he was like, he's like, I'm making dinner. And I'm like doing that thing where I'm not eating the foods that my body's highly reactive to right now. We decided we're gonna have chicken and rice and then like whatever vegetable he figured out at the grocery store. And he's like, I got this seasoning, and I checked the ingredients. There's nothing in it. I didn't even check after him because he's like, I don't know if he knows how to read labels. Because he bought me oat milk the other day, and he's like, there's no fat in this oat milk. There's 3.5 grams of fat in this oat milk. He's like, and this one has more protein. It's got less than 1 gram.
Less than 100 calories to a guy basically it doesn't have calories.
Right. And then so he's like, okay. It was so sweet. I had to like zip my lips because I was like, he's doing something really nice for you. He like makes green beans, and we get like a whole green beans, and he uses half of it, right? And he cooks half of a pound of bacon, and it's like the ratio of green beans to bacon, it was like for every 1 green bean was 2 bacons, right? I was like, it was actually super good though. We like sauteed these peppers, bell peppers, and onions, diced them really nice and small. And then he started sauteing them in bacon grease. Then he adds butter. He takes a whole stick of butter, half a cup of butter, chops it up, and he's like, okay, we're gonna add some butter, towards the end. I'm like, okay. So I take 1 tablespoon and I put it in there. I'm like, oh, that's good. And he goes and he starts grabbing them. He's throwing all the butter in there. And I'm like, what are you doing?
That's my
Like
entire meal of calories.
3 tablespoons left. And I was like, we're not putting that in. I mean, that shit was good, but I was like, it's so much fat. And I had like 44 grams of fat.
In a day.
And I was already I had 5 grams left for the day. And I was like,
That's funny.
I'm gonna kill you. So now I need to get him, be like, Jay wants to sabotage everybody because we're all in this competition together. So what are you gonna do to get me to win?
I'm gonna tell you, girl. There's 6 of us in this 3-person competition. Okay.
I need to get him. I need to get him to get his mind like that because then he'll go in. Because he's like, you're gonna give a prize every week. I'm like, no, at the end of the competition. Oh God, I thought you guys are gonna be buying leggings for each other every week. All he's seeing is money flying out the door.
I really like that idea.
I mean, like, I'll take a legging every week.
Okay, so we haven't even told them what we're doing. Okay.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, yeah. So because you and I are both on different trajectories, right? Like we're both cutting, but you've started already, and I'm just now starting. You're near your target weight, and I'm not near my target weight. And I don't even have really we're both kind of like, I'm a mirror tester and a clothing. Like that's what I like. I don't like to go off numbers. So we decided we weren't going to say what the numbers were. We
Like
weren't going to be like
whatever.
whoever lost the most weight was going to be the winner because you have less to lose, I have more to lose, and we were going to say who loses it first because you're almost there and I'm not, and I'm just starting. So we're at different points. So we were like, what's going to be the most supportive? Because we like challenges. We don't want to rely on them
Mm-hmm.
to like always motivate us to, because anyway, that's another topic. So we decided to do the streak. Like we're going to do habits. Like what habits do we want to do? What things do we want to track to get us to the goal that we're both looking for? Um,
It's like a
and
habit-based challenge.
habit-based challenge. Yeah. And so then it could be whatever it is for me, the habits I need to build and the habits you need to build. And then we just say who gets the longest streak or something like that. Oh, and then I like this one because the part of it is like each week we plan what that habit is or that streak for that week is.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if we're fiddling around with our macros or if we're fiddling around with our cardio or adding another habit in, we can, but whatever we decide on that Saturday, that's what we're doing. Or I
Yeah.
guess it's Sunday now. What's that girl's name that's joined us? I can't remember. Christy?
Christy. Christy.
Okay. Who's that girl?
No, it's funny. Yeah. So I was walking and I was because she knows that I was doing this competition with the girl at my work. I wanted to do another competition because I started just like getting real lax. I need some other type of like motivation to keep me going. Especially like for me, I just find cutting is hard. Like honestly, it's I don't know. It is. There's part of me that's like, it's really fucking hard. Then there's the other part of me that's like, it's not that hard. But it is because it's the consistency. I think that is hard with it because my old habits and my old patterns, for example, love a good brownie. I used to just finish work and be like, I'm craving sweets. I may as well just go get a whole fucking brownie. I'm bulking. It's fine. And now I'm like, that's just not how you bulk properly. Like if you want to bulk, just eat fucking healthy fucking shit. Like go get some good fats. Go get like maybe a square of dark chocolate and get something. Anyways, totally different topic. But I was like, I need something externally to keep me like motivated and accountable. So that's why we started this. And then I was telling Christy about it. I'm like, because she's been telling me for a while that she wanted to also lose some weight. And so I was like, well, we're doing this challenge. Like, do you want to join? And I told her about how the loser has to buy the winner $100 of athleisure of their choice. And she was like, I'm fucking in. I need that. I was like, okay. I was like, so second place buys first place, third place buys second place. And the winner
Yeah.
obviously buys nobody anything.
I know. I need fourth place and fifth place because I want to get at least make sure I get something.
Right? Yeah, we got to bring more people in. Anyway, so yeah, it's been super good and it's so motivating because like sometimes I'll be at work, like especially for me at work, fuck me, because I work in a restaurant in a really like beautiful steakhouse. It's fucking amazing. The food is like chef's kiss and it's in the back room all the time and they give us staff meal all the time. Sometimes it's like French toast in the morning or in the evening. Sometimes it's like they give us leftover French fries or portobello mushroom fries or just like any leftover food that's just sitting in the back. And that for me is like hard because it's like I worked last night. It's the end of the night and there's food sitting in the back room. There's cookies all the time. People bring in sweets and it's so
Oh
hard to
yeah.
like not be like tired and hungry and be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'll just have one, I'll just have two. And then all of a sudden it's like you're not in a calorie deficit anymore. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so that's kind of hard for me. So it's been really good having this challenge because I'm like, I can't do it. I want to win. I want to win. And ultimately at the end of the day, it's like, okay, you got to win for bragging rights and the tights, but it's changing the habits that I had before and showing myself it's okay. Like you don't have to have everything that you're thinking about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been good. That's how Christy got involved.
That's cool. Whatever her name is. Love you, Christy. I mean, I will, but yeah.
Oh my God.
That's funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's yeah, work. Oh my God. So I'm at the hospital and everybody like DoorDash, everybody DoorDashes their food. And they're like, when we have like crazy nights, the doctors will buy like everybody pizza or donuts.
And
And
you're
they're
fucking
like, yeah,
tired. It's the middle of the night,
and
right?
yeah, it's like freaking 3 a.m. It was like, I'm bored. What can I eat to keep awake
Yeah.
and entertained? It's tough.
Yeah.
like I'm pretty good at it. Like the only thing that keeps me like on track is because I make all my food and
Same.
prep it all. It's the only thing that will help. Um, and then I'm fine because I'm like I have food, I have good food. I don't really want it, but it gets annoying to smell it. The thing that I have, like to me, like once I'm like locked in, like I'm committed to what I'm doing, like I don't actually have a hard time with it. What's hard and what keeps me gets me shaky is when I don't feel like I'm not seeing the result that I'm looking for. And I'm like, I feel like this is a pretty realistic ask that I'm looking for. Like, I'm not going, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks. I don't even want to lose weight that fast. But, like, I feel like my goal that I have in mind is like realistic. But then when I don't see it and I don't see it, I don't see it, I'm
Mm,
like, I'm doing all this for what? And then I'm
yeah.
like, am I doing it? And then I start going into that spiral. Like, I'm like, am I doing it right? Do I need to go look for some other information? Do I need to try something else? And then I start getting inconsistent because I'm like, I'm not seeing results. I gotta fucking switch it up. I'm like, I'm right there at the cusp of that right now. Because I'm like, okay, I have been in a cut for 2 weeks now. Once I was realizing, I remember I was like, oh my God, I've been in bulk calories on
You're
accident.
like, my ass is growing. I'm like, how is that possible? You're in a deficit. I was like, that
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
make
And I was
sense.
like, oh, because I was following that lady's macros, like figuring out your macros that related to your hormones and stuff. And so, and I didn't switch the calculator from bulk to cut. And that's why I
Oh,
didn't. And I was like, oh shit,
oh
there's
no.
400 different, so 400 calorie difference there.
That's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I switched it. And so it's been like 2 weeks now, 3 weeks now. And I'm still at the same fucking weight.
Oh my God. I actually heard that. So I was listening to um this podcast. And even when I started my cut, even like the first pound or two, you're like, have I actually lost that? Or is it just like, because the scale can fluctuate
Yeah.
lots.
Within
And so,
pounds, within like an hour.
yeah. So like even now, sometimes like even after losing 7.5 pounds, I'm still like, is it real? Even though I know I feel different and my clothes are fitting different. It's like
Mhm.
it just takes so much time, I think, to see the difference. And like, yeah, the scale isn't an indicator of everything. And so it's like you have to be so consistent. And one podcast I was listening to, sometimes it can take even 4+ weeks for your body to respond to being in
Yeah.
a deficit. And my friend at work, she's like, yeah, it's so weird. She's like, I'll be in a calorie deficit. And she's sometimes it's 12 weeks and nothing happens. I'm like, oh my God. But it's like, I told myself when I first started, I was like, okay, I have to be consistent. If I'm not seeing progress or I'm not seeing change, I just still need to stay consistent with it. And I can't get frustrated and I have to be patient. The first 2 or 3 weeks were like frustrating, but I was like, just stay with it. And then now it's like, okay, I think once I get to the 10-pound mark, then I'll be like, okay, I've actually like properly lost weight now. And it's not moving off my body where I want it to. Like, that's annoying. Like, why can't I just choose where it's leaving my body from?
Come on.
Like, it's like I've lost weight around like my rib cage. It's so weird. I've lost
Mm.
weight around my rib cage and like on my back where I used to have fat there.
Oh gosh.
And I feel like my stomach, I feel like nothing's changed. It's weird. I don't know. I'm like, yeah, there's certain or like my upper body, like my collarbones and my face and my fingers. I'm like, who needs to lose fat in their fingers? Like, who fucking cares? Like, hello, choose somewhere else in my body
You
to
don't
go.
want big old sausages.
My rings, like some of my rings don't fit anymore. And I'm like, okay, great.
That's funny.
But
Like it's
yeah.
driving me crazy.
So you've been on it for 3 weeks, your deficit?
Yeah, I think 3 weeks. But I am glad about the challenge because it'll help me like uh when if I'm losing motivation from the results, or if I'm getting frustrated with that, like I can just lean on I
This
am not buying somebody leggings.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm getting the leggings.
It's true. It's so true.
It's nice to have that buffer because I've always been a little phobic of accountability partners and groups because so many times I've been the only one that sticks it out
Mm,
and everybody else like finks out. And so then them leaving actually like I'm like, oh, and then it demotivates me when I was
yeah.
motivated and then they leave and then I'm like, winds out of my sails. I was like,
Oh, I know. I get
so I
it.
don't
Yeah.
like that because I don't like I don't want to, so I don't like relying on other people to get me going because I know that's fleeting.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So I like the competition part because I'm like, well, if they flake out, sucks to be them. I'm getting
Yeah.
two leggings.
I know. It's so
All
true.
about
And
the
it, and
leggings, guys. I've got like
yeah,
10 in my cart.
you're like, these are the ones I want.
Yeah.
No, because it's like, yeah, I just think it's interesting because also it's like changing your habits, right? Because if
Mhm.
we're doing it for 3 months, it's changing your habits, it's slowly changing your identity. Like even the other night I was walking
Mhm.
with Jay and I was like, oh, I'm just like craving a brownie so fucking bad right now. I was like, but also it's annoying because I know that if I eat it, I'm not gonna be sad. Like I was craving binging on it, like to
Mhm.
the point where I was like full.
Mhm.
And I was like, I just want to have that feeling. And then I was like, but I also don't because I know how unsatisfied I'm gonna be. And I'm gonna be like, I let myself down. And
Mhm.
so I was just like stuck in this place of like, the thing I want to satisfy me isn't going to satisfy me. So I
Yeah.
was like, it's just a weird feeling. But I feel like
Yeah.
after like months of doing this, it's going to be good when I start a bulk again because I have so much more energy. I'm not eating as much refined sugar. Like I feel good. I'm creating better habits with cooking. I used to fucking hate cooking. I mean, I still
Mm.
don't really love it, but um I have to find ways to like still have the things I love, like pizza or
Mhm.
burgers or like whatever, and just having it in a healthier way and like making it at home. So that's been good.
Yeah, I've really liked making my food lately because you like, oh my God, cooking was like, oh, fuck me. I'd rather not. Just peel my skin off. I don't want to do it.
I know.
But now I'm like, I actually prefer that food. Dylan
Yeah,
loves to eat out. It's like, you don't want to cook, do you, babe? I'm like, actually, I do.
I do.
You want to get breakfast? I'm like, actually, I would rather have the breakfast I have at home. Like, I would
Yeah.
rather have my own food. I don't, I'm like, we can go and you can eat it. Is that weird? Yeah, that's might be weird. I'm just sitting there drinking water. How's the food, babe?
I
And
don't say
honestly,
that.
I would rather, so I'm sure, like, I was at work yesterday and he went to work out and then he went out to eat because he's like, I can eat French toast.
French toast is a
It's,
vibe.
oh, yeah, French toast is so good. But yeah. Um, so how are you thinking of doing yours? So your two streaks right now that you're tracking are,
My main one is my calories. So that's like my number one because it's crazy actually. I was looking at my weight and when I weighed myself, not the Saturday we just had, but the one before, I was like, I don't know, I can't remember, 140 something, 140.2, for example. And then I weighed myself on the Monday, and I think my weight went up like zero 0.6. And then I weighed myself on the next day, or sorry, on the Saturday, and I was like, oh, my weight only lost zero 0.5. And I had increased my calories a lot, like 200 probably was my
mm,
average last week, what I increased. And then I look back, I was like, oh my God, I was measuring off of Monday, not Saturday. And so I thought I only lost a half a pound, but I think I lost like 1.2 pounds. And I was like, oh, and I still increased
perfect.
like tons. But I think it's really interesting because
That's awesome.
I think once you like, I did train super fucking hard last week and I've been doing cardio a lot. And I have a lot of steps. Like it takes so many steps a day. It's crazy. Like I probably walk on average like 20,000 steps a day. It's nuts.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so I think I can handle more calories because last time I did a cut was when I was in Mexico and I was only eating like 1,500 calories a day. Like, oh my God, that was not much food. But now I'm eating like more sustainably. So yeah, I'm going to track my calories. I'm going to see how things go. Like this week, I went back down to my lower calories, but maybe next week I'll increase them a little bit because I only want to lose a pound a week. I think if I lose more than that, I'm going to be losing like muscle, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm tracking that. I think that's my main one right now. Like I have other things that I'm tracking each day, like for example, water consumption or um I'm pretty good at drinking 3 liters a day because I'll probably finish about 1.5 liters before I even go to work in the morning at 10:30. So I'll just I try and do 3 liters. Sometimes I'll like this week I need to do cardio for an hour and 80 minutes or an hour and 80 minutes. No, 80 minutes. So an hour and like 20
20
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah. um I'm kind of nervous about that this week because I'm like, I don't know where I'm gonna fit it in, but I'll make
Mm.
it work. But I've been really enjoying cardio. I thought I fucking hated it before, and it's just like nice to
What are you
push
doing for
myself.
cardio?
Stairmaster. I love it.
Mm. I did that for a long time and then I stopped and then I got on one time and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do 10 minutes and then do like finish off on like treadmill or something. I got on there, I was like, no. It was not even 2 minutes. I got off. So this week I've got the 80, I put the 80 minutes in right at the end. I was like, okay, I am gonna put cardio in there and do try to do 4 sessions or at least 80 minutes. I like that. I'm just gonna do this and then find out wherever I can put it. And I was like, okay, my goal is to at least make one of those the stairs.
What do you normally do?
It doesn't have to be 20 minutes, but I have to at least do the stairs once because I like that because I felt like the stairs gave me more cardio like breathing. Like it helped actually like the
Cardiovascular.
cardiovascular
Yeah.
part of my life. I just been walking on the treadmill, or I'll do like sprint intervals. Well, sprinting for me, um, or I'll do like steady state running, or I'll do like incline walks. I got on the elliptical once. Actually prefer the elliptical for running, just because it's like easier on my knees. But then I'm always like paranoid. I'm like, is it counting my steps? God damn it!
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm like, I'll just use the treadmill.
The Stairmaster I like because you can do a lower setting and it's like it feels like it's less effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
It's really interesting because I do sometimes I'll do my cardio in the morning and sometimes I'll do it in the afternoon. And I've been doing it in the morning and I notice in the morning I have to like increase it more. I'm like, why do I have to go so much harder in the morning to get my heart rate to like 130 or 135? And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I
Oh,
asked
weird.
Chat, my best friend. I was like,
I asked my best friend.
I was like,
She's
why is
talking
it
about
harder?
AI, folks.
Talking about AI. Chat knows me way too well. It kind of freaks me out.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, I asked Chat why it's harder to get your heart rate up in the morning, and it was like, oh, because you might not have all the glycogen in your muscles from like the day of eating. And there was
Mm.
like a couple other things too, but it was really interesting. I was like, oh, so it actually is harder to get your heart rate up in the morning than it is in the afternoon. I mean, I don't know if everybody's like that, but it's just for me.
Hmm. Interesting. Do you eat
Yeah.
before you work out?
No, not when I'm doing cardio. I'll just do it fasted. Do you?
I usually don't because I usually like I used to just like wake up, get ready and go.
Oh yeah, you go
And I,
really early in the morning.
but now since I've been like on nights and stuff, my schedule's been all sorts of crazy. And so it's just like I'll eat and then I'm like, well, I gotta wait because I'm not going with I'm gonna throw up a freaking chicken and rice,
Oh yeah.
and so I'll like wait an hour or something. But I feel like I started because I remember years ago it was like do fasted, work out fasted. And it seems like now people are like, actually, it's not better. You need to have something in your body to work out. But sometimes the research drives me insane because you're just like, I could find like 20 different opinions on
It
the same
changes
topic.
all the fucking
Who the
time.
fuck do I listen to? It drives me insane. Like when I was looking at stuff for cutting, I'm like, oh, I could do.
There's so much everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Don't do this. You're wrong. Do this. You're wrong. Oh God. Everybody, could we just? So it's just, I just like we've said a million times to each other. We just have to experiment, figure out what
With
works
our own
for
bodies.
us.
Yeah.
Because like what works for you might not work for me because I'm at a different point in my life. I have thyroid issues. I've had children. I have, like I have things that my body has gone through that yours hasn't. You have different things that, so it's like you have your own physical stuff that you're figuring out too. So it's like, ugh, we just have to figure out what will work. But then comes the impatience.
Yeah.
You're like, experiment. Life is short. I want the fucking answer now. Come to me in a dream, please.
Come to me in a dream. Okay, but wait, what were you telling me before we started recording about you were like, I think I'm getting symptoms of perimenopause. What is
Yes.
that?
Okay. My period has been like weird the last year. Like I've always been like clockwork. I know you can't relate. I've always been clockwork, right? But like I think it's been a year, maybe less. I don't know. That my periods are like sometimes they come later, sometimes they come earlier, and sometimes they are super short, sometimes they're a little bit longer. Um, and my symptoms are like some weeks. It's like every other period. Like one period is like I'm like super like and crampy, and then other times I'm like, oh, I started my period. I didn't even know it was coming. I think last time I was like super crampy and bitchy. And this time I'm like, I'm supposed to be starting anytime now, I think, but I have no symptoms of it. So that's been like kind of like, And then I was like, well, it could be stress because your girl's stressed. Oh, anyway, I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, I was covered in sweat. And I was like, I didn't even know I was hot. I was like, yeah, I guess I am hot. But I mean, like dripping. I was like
Really?
dripping. Like my sheets were damp. That's gross. Like it's super uncomfortable.
That's not normal. That happens to me every time my period comes. I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm like in
Oh,
sweat.
serious? Oh my
Yes.
gosh. And I was like, oh, you know what? I have been doing this recently. Like I have been waking up just sweaty. And I'm like, but outside of the blankets, it's fucking freezing in the room. I turn on the fan and I was like, it's fucking freezing. But I'm like, but yeah, but I don't sweat the whole night. It's just like part of the night. And I'm like, I think night sweats is a thing. Night sweats is a thing. So I think, I don't know. Well, I've never had that before. That's new
Interesting.
for me.
Okay.
Like in the last couple months, I think.
Well, let's monitor your symptoms and
Let's
see.
monitor it.
You can put that into chat and it'll let you know what's going on.
Chat, what the fuck's wrong with me? Well, you look at the perimenopause symptoms and it's like the same as thyroid, which is the same as being a woman,
Oh,
which is the same as having a period. It's just like, okay, whatever. And there's like not like a blood test that you can take. The doctors just go by your symptoms too. So they're
oh,
just making it up as well. I'm like, yeah.
interesting.
Anyway.
Damn.
So so back to our challenge. Are you planning on potentially adding more things as you go, or just like each
Well, I
week
mean, I have
saying
the
like,
other things. I have the other things that I'm doing, right? Like, and we've talked before about how I want to really focus on like my intensity in my workouts.
mhm,
It was interesting because I did in my mesocycle that I just finished, I did like a failures week where I was just trying to get PRs. And there was some movements that I was like spot on training. And then there was some movements when I was like, oh shit, I really need to increase my weight. So it was really good to
mhm,
see and get that feedback. But I think I just want to focus on my calories right now. I still have the other things that I'm doing, like the cardio, walking, like I'm just trying to increase my steps a little bit, like walk to work once a week. Um, and stuff like that. So I think I'm just going to focus on my calories right now. That's the main thing. And I think that for me, that's the hardest thing to stay on track with. because I get tempted by other things. And two, like even the other night, Jay was like, we had pizza or like we made like a pita pizza, like a healthy pizza. And then he was like, oh, I'm gonna have another one. And then he ate another one. And I was like, oh, I tried some. And then I was like, oh,
I
I'm
want
gonna
another one.
I know. So then I had more. So it's hard for me, like if I'm like if I'm around other people that are eating, but it's like I really need to just like stay on my discipline of my food, because ultimately, like I think that's what I've noticed has been the biggest change. Like I think the first 2 weeks that I started this, I didn't do any cardio. I just focused on my food. So yeah.
That's
And
good.
oh my God, sleep for me is actually another big thing. Like I want to get 8 hours every night. And since I got my Garmin watch, it tells me that I don't get enough deep sleep. And that gives me like mad anxiety, because I'm like, well, the deep sleep is where your body's actually repairing itself.
Uh-huh.
And that's where your muscles are growing. So I'm like, oh my God, no. So yeah, I've been focusing a lot on my sleep. Yeah, that's good. I like sleep. I love
So what are
sleeping,
you
but
doing to get yourself 8 hours? Do you have to go to bed earlier or sleeping
yeah, I
later? What are you
mean,
doing?
I try and go to bed earlier, because I notice if I go to bed earlier, it gives me a better window to get my deep sleep. So and like no TV before bed. It's funny because we used to watch like TV just before bed and sometimes in bed, and then I would fall asleep,
Yeah.
but it would really like fuck my sleep. And Jay's still watching it. Like we can't. I like if I'm not watching a show by 8 o'clock, I can't watch TV. Like it has to be
Mm.
done by 9 o'clock so that I can have an hour to like wind down.
What do you
Um,
do for winding down? Because Dylan and I we put the TV on as our wind down and we'll be like in bed watching TV or whatever. And it's just like sometimes I feel like it helps me turn my brain off. Like sometimes I have to have that in the background, but I don't get good sleep with it on.
no,
But then sometimes like I'll just sit there and like marinate in overthinking. So I'm like, I don't know what to do there.
no. I find I'll read before bed, and that helps me go to sleep. Even if I'm like really in the book and I think I'm wide awake, I'll read for like 15 or 20 minutes, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta go to bed. And then I'll listen to like a meditation, and I've been just listening to the same one.
Mm.
You know,
Just gotta figure out
actually,
what to do with him. Because
oh,
he's not gonna fucking read. He's like books. Bleh.
but does he watch TV in bed?
Yeah.
No. I go
Or
nuts.
he likes scroll on his
Jay's like,
phone.
you're Jay's like, you're a psycho. How are we ever gonna live together? I was like, okay, well, in the bedroom, there's no TV, there's no this, there's no that. He's like, I want to get an Xbox. I'm like, no. He's like, this isn't gonna work. I'm like, fine, you can have an Xbox, not in the bedroom. He's like, okay, fine.
Yeah. Definitely not in the bedroom. Yeah.
So like I just won't I won't watch. I don't watch it in the bedroom. It's just no, because that's how it
Mm.
really fucks your sleep up. Just tell him he's gonna get more jacked if he doesn't watch it in the bedroom. Your muscles will actually grow bigger if you watch it in the living room.
Yeah. Well, he said the other day, like when I first met him, he was like, I don't watch TV. And I was like, oh, okay. He watches TV. Dylan, if you're listening, you watch TV. But he was like, yeah, I used to say, he's like, no, I used to be really good about not watching TV and then I would use my time for other things. He's like, well, instead of doing TV, I would study because he was trying to get his pilot's license at one point. And he would study for different things. So maybe I could bring that up and be like, hey, because we both have big goals of things that we're trying to do and study for. So maybe I'll bring it up that way. Be like, hey, let's do this together. You didn't used to do this. Let's try this for at least a month. See how it happens. See what works.
Yeah. Do it. I find before, like when I started realizing that this TV was like impacting my sleep, I would tell him
Hmm.
like in the morning, I'd be like, I had a really bad sleep last night because we watched TV in bed, or like, I could hear it. Like I was like, you can watch it if you have headphones in, because I wear an eye mask, so I can't see anything, but it's the noise that disrupts me.
I'm the
And I'm
one
like,
that sleeps with it on though. He's always like, turn it off. I'm all, shut
oh.
up. So it's just for me too. It's just as equally for me. But I'm like, oh, we just gotta have something else to do besides,
Like I find it's helped being like, okay, well, at 8 o'clock, I don't watch a show past 8, because if I'm watching it past
Mhm.
8, that bleeds into like the rest of my wind
That's a
down
good
routine.
idea. Let's just we turn it off at 8 and then we do other things.
No, like you have to be watching the show by 8 o'clock. So it's like
Oh,
if you don't have it on by 8 o'clock, you can't watch it.
Mm.
because then it gives you like, I don't know, we're watching Yellowstone, so it's an hour episode. So that means by 9, the TV's off.
Oh, I see. I see. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
But then it's like you're still getting in that in. We still like to watch TV, but it's like, I don't need to watch a million episodes, just one before bed. And then I'll do the rest of my like journaling. That helps me wind down, read.
I have the hardest time doing that stuff, journaling and meditating if he's in the room. I'm like,
Oh, I know.
I can't do this. It
Yeah.
feels so intrusive. Like, is he trying to figure out what all I can think about is him, you know? I'm like, I'm meditating. What is he like waiting for me to be done? Is this weird? Like, I can't focus on what I'm supposed to
Yeah.
can't do it.
It's kind of
Oh,
it is kind of weird, but I just started doing it and then it's easier.
okay.
So sometimes like he'll still be sleeping when I'm like on the weekends, he's like sleeping in while I'm journaling and then meditation, he likes listening to my meditation. So that helps.
Hmm. Maybe I'll talk to him about it, see where we go there. My challenge streaks, I chose 3 because I was like trying to figure out.
Make it easy for yourself. Just do one. Like have your main one and then the other ones are just like your personal ones.
They are. It's not making it hard on myself. These are the things I'm going to be doing anyway, but
Okay.
I wanted to put it in the challenge to like so I wouldn't think out because it's like
Oh, I see.
macros because I eat the same food every day for the most part. Like I cycle through like 3 or 4 meals. Like I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna have my protein shake for breakfast today, or my protein pancakes, or my protein oatmeal, you know. And so, but just tracking them, I need to track them because I go over without even realizing it. Like I'll be like, oh, I had 2 rice cakes, and I'm really trying to get in on that protein goal. It's like supposed to be 167 protein grams, but I'm trying to give myself flexibility there. So I'm trying to like because I have a tendency to be like too anal about my goals and like too like rigid. And so I'm trying to like build in, we can be flexible, we can go. I'm trying to help me see that the world's not going to end if I am not precise, but also staying accountable and making sure that I don't start all of a sudden eating too many calories that I'm not even realizing it, or too little and I'm not realizing it. So my thing is to actually track it and try to be within 200 grams either way of my calorie, whatever. So just the staying on tracking, that to me is a big deal. And then my steps, because that's hard for me to get. So, but I'm doing it flexibly, saying 70,000 for the week,
Oh, that's good.
so that
Yeah.
I don't have to go 10,000 every day because sometimes at work I just can't do that. And it's like 12 and a half hours. And so like I only have like a short window of time to make up for it. And if I have like 30 things that I'm trying to do in 2 hours, I can't do it. Something, like I want to be able to be like, I have to be with my child watching her basketball game. I'm not going to get my steps in watching my child's basketball game, so I'm trying to build in that flexibility for real life. So that's really helping me feel good about it and not, I'm like, oh, I have extra time today. I have all the time in the world at the gym today. So I can do my full workout session and I'm going to do my long cardio session and get some steps in, go on a walk. So making up for it. So I like that. That's really helping. So I'm tracking it every day. So I get my habit and it's conscious and I'm aware of it and I'm thinking about it and I'm
That's
putting
good.
effort into it, which is building that habit. And then also giving myself flexibility for lifestyle. So I'm really excited about the challenge because I feel like it's realistic. Like it's pushing, but it's not so rigid. If you miss, if I got
One day.
8,000 steps today, I'm not gonna, there's no shame involved. And I
Yeah.
like that because it's important for us. I know for us, we're trying to remove shame and being bad and being wrong out of our lives.
Hmm.
And so I think this is a great step for us to be like, well, if I didn't have my calories, I'm bad. If I had that fucking brownie, I'm bad. I'm wrong. Shame on you. You're gonna fail. Look at you. You're failing again, and all that shame spiral. So I really like how we're approaching it. And then the other one I snuck in there at the end was doing that cardio.
80
I
minutes.
think it's like it's so interesting too because I'm like my expectation for this challenge for the 3 months is like I know I'm gonna have days where I'm over my calories and I know I have days when I'm gonna be like I want to go have brownie and ice cream and I've been doing that since I started this and I'm still losing weight, you know?
Right.
So it's not the end of the world if you're over your calories and I'm like okay, my expectation is that I'm gonna have those days. I'm gonna have days where I go out and I'm gonna eat because I'm not gonna just like fucking stay at home. I'm not preparing for a
Mhm.
bodybuilding competition, you know?
Right.
For life.
Exactly.
So it's like my expectation is not that I'm going to hit every single day, but it's like, okay, how am I still going to maintain a good life and push myself to do things that are hard? Because I was telling my friend at work too, it's like
Mhm.
I have this vision in my mind of who I am and what I am and all the things. And it's like I want my body to kind of reflect that. And I feel like I was having habits before that didn't. And so it's like, how can I push myself into having the things that I've been dreaming of for years? It's like, okay, well, just different small decisions. And it's exactly that.
Mhm.
It's not linked to shame. And I think too, also the past years, you know, when I talk about the habits that I had with food, I wasn't ready to be in a calorie deficit. Like I was not at all because my
Mhm.
relationship with food was like fluctuating a lot. I was going through some hard things. And for me, my coping mechanism was turning to food. And it's like, okay, whatever, you know? Now that I've like gained a lot of emotional resilience and like done lots
Mhm.
of therapy and all the things, it's like I have more bandwidth to push myself more. I have the ability to do it. So I don't think every aspect. And then I look back and I'm like, oh, the times when I was trying to cut calories, it was totally the wrong fucking time to try and do it because I was in such a bad
Mhm.
mentally. So
Mhm.
I think there's the right, like for me, it's like I think there's the right time emotionally when it is to cut your calories and to be in a calorie deficit or like really focus on these things. So I'm really starting to appreciate the journey of it all and choosing the times when it is the right timing for things to unfold. So that's been really cool.
You just said something that made me think of this quote that's actually been like bouncing around in my head a lot lately as I'm like looking at like I feel like I'm at like a crossroads of my life. I don't know why. Maybe we all feel that way all the time. I don't know. Where I feel like you were talking about timing. You know, like I look back on the last couple of years of my life and like how it's all led me to where I am right now. And like the place where I'm actually like mentally ready, emotionally stable and more resilient to like push myself into new realms and to new pursuits and like do different things. And so this has been like I didn't even listen to the whole freaking reel. I was just like scrolling. And this girl was saying, you know, it's only hard. I don't even remember what the lead up was. It doesn't matter. But she was like, it's only hard because it's new. You haven't done it. You haven't done it before. It's only hard because you haven't done it before.
Yeah.
And it was really cool because I was able to link it to my job that I got back in July, where I was like, at first, I was like, geez, this is
It's
really
stressful.
hard.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so much. And I was having to push myself into all these different uncomfortable spaces that I hadn't done before. And then I was like, oh my God, I can do this. Oh my God, I can do this. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm bored. What's next? This is
Yes.
so easy. I'm just
So
like,
true.
and so it was really cool to see that and like, because I've heard that before. And you're like, this isn't news. There's no news flash bulletin here. But I was like able to connect it with my real life experience. You know, we were talking about cutting earlier and we're like, okay, because you know, we were going, oh, am I gonna bulk? Am I gonna cut? We don't want to lose our muscle. You know, but it's like, let's stop dicking around and fucking cut. Get
Yeah.
our bodies to the leanness that we want. And it was just like, oh yeah. And like this only feels hard because it's new. I haven't gotten to that body weight that I want to be. I mean, like I've gotten pretty fucking close. I just needed to get a little bit more instead of going back to bulking. I just needed to see it through.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
it's like it's only hard because I haven't before. It's just like all the other things I'm thinking. Anyway, I don't know. Something you said
Oh,
was
I
like,
like
oh
that.
yeah,
I like that. That is true because also too, like the first time, you know, when I was in Mexico and I did my first like proper cut, I was dating that guy that was the nutritionist. And so he was helping me and I had so much personal accountability, like checking in with him all the time. And I remember I made it so much about like him. I was like, oh well
yeah,
he got me there. And I was like, I
yeah,
can't do it without
yeah,
having somebody with me and all of this
yeah.
stuff and all these stories I was telling myself for a really long time. And it's like I'm doing it now without having a personal trainer. Of course, accountability is I'm realizing how important it is for me. and like this
Mhm.
challenge has been really fun. And so yeah, like I think there's different ways that you can incorporate it. And this has been really good because now I'm like exactly like what you're saying. It's like I'm doing it on my own this time. It has a different
Mhm.
level of hardness, but I'm showing myself like how strong I am and how committed and disciplined I can be. And I think that is so fucking important. So it's like every time you do these things, you learn something different about yourself. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's just cool. So I'm excited to kind of see what happens and what it looks like for both of us as we're doing it and what we're finding the challenges are and all the things. So um
Keep
maybe we could talk
sharing.
about that in our next episode is like some more things, because I have so many questions that I want to ask you about how you're incorporating it in comparison to how I am with like your family and
Mhm.
stuff. So um I think we should talk about that next time.
I love it.
Love it a lot. um I'm busting. I've drank my 1.5 liters of liquids this morning, my water, my greens, and my coffee. So I really need to go to the bathroom. and
Just go right here. Where's
that's
your
how
diaper? Where's the
and,
commitment?
and that's how we're gonna end this episode. Oh my god, that's
Don't
funny.
make eye contact with AnnMarie right now. She's relieving herself.
I know, my god. Yeah, that would be commitment, okay?
Yeah, a little too far.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, well, we will see you guys all next week. Oh my god.
Well, AnnMarie's gonna take a pee. I hope you join us next week for our next gym bag confessions.